Oh yeah. What's going on? We're here with Forza Motorsport 2. My redo campaign because I need those achievements for my real Xbox Live account. So I'm already dying. So this is interesting. I recorded this footage a month ago and I didn't record my audio. I thought I was recording, but I didn't. So I have to do this in post. So for the next 2.5 hours, we will endure my voice over this game. And we're picking up exactly right where we left off. And the struggle is real. Trying to get that paper. Trying to get that paper in this game so that I can, finish it. So that'll be really fun. I guess this was the part of the game where I was doing my intro. I think it's pretty clear. Oh well, it is what it is. So I'm just gonna be, just hanging around. I don't have audio because of the way I record my. Okay, so I'm not hearing the game audio because I use studio monitor headphones, and the only way I can hear something while I'm recording, because I'm using an XLR microphone through like an ancient preamp, is I need my gold adapter for my headphones, and I lost it. I have no idea where the heck it might be, so I'm just doing this without any sound. Just the sound of my own voice, which is exciting. So, it is. That's fine. It is what it is. The greatest cope of all time. Iron Runoff. If I remember correctly, this was one with like a Corvette on the, the New York track? Yeah, this one right here, where the Corvette just, no matter what, will beat you. The only way I can win against the Corvette in this Camaro, I think it's a Z28, is by choosing a track with as few straight lines in it as possible, which is really weird to say, right? I didn't see it. I'm like standing up and pacing while I should probably watch it at least a little bit. So, nice launch. There goes that Corvette. Oh man, it's the C2 also. The C2 Corvette's so cool, but man, those things can get expensive. A split window Corvette, C2 Corvette is like, I think one went at auction for like $1 million or something like that. It's crazy. Would you pay $1 million for a Corvette like that? Well, I mean, the thing is that, the person who won it at auction for that much, they're paying that much, they're not driving it. Which is, I can see it being a good thing for the sake of preservation, but at the same time, man, I guess there are other C2 Corvettes you can go around driving in, right? In fact, now that I'm just watching my gameplay, I can actually go on to GooNet. Let's see how much a C2 Corvette can go for in Japan. All right, so we're gonna open up GooNet here. Oh, which track is this? I always liked this track though. I believe it's in Forza Motorsport 1 also. And this track was always one of my favorites. It has a nice, it's very conducive to muscle cars, I guess, and their handling characteristics, at least the classic ones. All right, so Chevrolet. They have Jeep there too. All right, we're going to go to Corvette. And let's see, we're going to organize by year because, of course, we're going to see mostly C8s, but they're not the, let's see here. The years we want the second gen. Hang on a second. Oh, oldest. There we go. Ooh, they do have some C2s here. They have C1s also, but not the pretty ones, not the ones that are like the most sought after. We have the ones with the quad headlights, but those are still really expensive anyway. Not as expensive as the C2s though. I mean, the ones that have prices listed. So this 1964 C2 Corvette. Let's see. This is a Stingray. Oh wow. Okay, so that is. Hang on, let me look at the. Yeah, it's not a split window, of course. There's no way well, there's probably one in Japan, but. All right, let's see. What is the engine here? 5.34 cc or 5.34 liters. Which one is that? That's kind of weird. All right. Well, let's look at the, well, there's a nice red one. It doesn't have a price listed though, but let's see here. 5-speed manual. You have interior shots? Oh, they do. Oh, okay. Wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. Sorry, I had to itch my face there for a second. If you heard that. Okay, so let's look at this next one. Hang on. Oh, the first Corvette I looked at is 290 million Japanese yen, which is probably quite a bit, well over $200,000 equivalent. So that's a little expensive, just a little bit. Here's a cheaper one though, 190 million. Hey, you get 100 million yen off and it's red instead of gray. All right, but what's the catch here? 502 engine. Cubic inch. How many liters is that? Ah, this is the 7-liter. Okay. Wow. You mean to tell me that the 7-liter is less expensive than the 5.34 liter? The 502. Ah, these things are epic. The C2. And I won that race, didn't I? I sure did. My Z28 Camaro against the Stingray. Okay, how about this one? The C2. What's this guy? Working quad headlights. Working as in their pop-up headlights, so they still work. Oh, this is an automatic. That's why this one's so cheap. 100 and... Wait, hang on. Is that 100 million? Oh, shoot. I gotta do math. It's too early for this. I've had one coffee, but typically I have more, so I'm just gonna do some math on this really dirty, dusty calculator that I hardly use. 1,220 times 10,000. Ah, it's 12 million. Okay, so the first one was like 20 million, 19 million. This one's 12 million yen. Got it. So then we're going to divide that by 100, and that's like the US dollar equivalent like 10 years ago. Divided by 100. Yeah, still, yeah, I got the US dollar amount. It's still like in the 6 figures. .3 liters with the automatic. Not bad though. Not bad. Actually the running cost for that, at least, oh, I hit my microphone. The running cost for that would be like not excessively high. I mean, it could be worse. Japanese car inspections are probably like the worst. Seriously, what is it with Japan and like freaking... Oh, I'm turning off the menu music. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Because I got a copyright notification the first time. All right, so this one's nice. It's blue. See, back in the day, the reason why the split window now is so sought after is because nobody wanted, ooh, that Saab looking tasty, looking like a real snack right there. Anybody ever say that before? Oh, what's my problem? Yeah, but the reason why is because back in the day, at least I'm going to speculate that back in the day, the reason why they didn't want the split window was because the one continuous wraparound window captured that sort of jet age, like bubble cockpit aesthetic that was really popular in like the 50s and early 60s. I mean, if you look at like any car from that era, there's always like these big, like uninterrupted single panes of just window wrapping as much around the cockpit of the car as possible. And so when you look at like the rear of these C2 Corvettes with that one singular piece of glass wrapped around the sides where then the rear fenders sort of arch up over that, it looks really cool, honestly. But yeah, that's I guess neither here nor there. That one's 18 million yen. And then we get to the C3s, and C3s are actually pretty cheap in comparison for the most part. It depends on which year you get, though, of course. Certain C3s are more sought after than others. Personally, C67. Level 22 for the dealership. I forgot when I was playing this that I didn't have the American partnership. I had the European. But you know. Let's see here. This one's yellow. I love yellow Corvettes. This one is probably a 70s model, it looks like. What's the engine displacement? It's probably 5.7 liters, yeah. 4-speed manual. I used to hate the C3, but I grew to like them, especially the late models. The like the early 80s ones, or like late 70s, early 80s, where they start to sort of look like a transitional car going from the C3 from the 60s to the C4. I really like that look, which is why I bought one in Gran Turismo 2, just for the aesthetic. This looks like a late 70s version, right? Model. Does it say? Yeah, 78. Wow, look at that. I can eyeball it now. That's funny. I can tell because of the there's like a slight difference in the face when you go from that to like the 1980 model. Just looking at Corvettes now. Dang, there are a lot of late C3s. One of them has a body kit and looks ugly as sin because of it. C4s are pretty cheap, especially the automatics with the Malaise engine. Ooh, that one's a 90s color. It's that like GM kind of blue, green, like weird, like teal color that a lot of 90s GM cars had at the time. That's pretty aesthetic. Let's see here. I need to fill in the... Oh, C5s. We're in the C5 section now. C5s are... Actually, they can get really cheap, can't they? 200,000. No, not 200. Hang on, let me think about this. 2 million. Hey, some of these, if I didn't spend any money in the year and just collected my salary, I would be able to buy one of these with cash. Yeah, but I'm too busy buying video games and paying student loans. See, here's the thing. I could buy a car, right? I could, because I have the cash to like just go and buy like a cheap car. In fact, there are cars on my favorites list on GooNet that I could actually, I have the cash to just go and get. The problem is, though, that buying a car isn't affording one. In Japan especially, because yeah, there's like that initial sales tax and everything like that, but then like if you're paying so little for a car, that also means that you're also it's also older than 13 years. I mean, it's older than 13 years. That means it's going to need its shaken inspection every year, which is at the minimum 100,000 yen. That's if there's nothing wrong with it. If they do find something wrong with it, they've tack on an extra 100,000 or 150,000 in fees or whatever to fix it for you. It's pretty atrocious, actually. Ooh, that is a C7 ZR1. Now that is pretty cool. So yeah, like buying a car is one thing, affording it isn't. That's something that people need to also understand, is that like just because you can buy something doesn't necessarily mean that you can afford it, right? That's something I learned listening to copious amounts of Dave Ramsey on local talk radio when I was in college. Most of what I know about finances comes from a what is it? I forgot the C word I'm thinking of. Not competition, but not a complexion. Combination of Clark Howard and Dave Ramsey. But Clark Howard is more of like a consumer, like advocacy. It's like a consumer knowledge sort of thing where it's like where to find the best deals and stuff. Whereas Dave Ramsey is all about like financial literacy and like getting yourself out of debt. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And because talk radio, because my my college that I was commuting to at the time was like an hour's drive away, and for whatever reason, like the FM stations local to my town just didn't reach where I was going. But if I switched over to AM, I could listen to the local talk radio, because that was all that was on anyway, was talk radio or sports. So I would just turn on sports. I would just turn on talk radio. And I chose this Catfish Camaro SS to race against all of these cars that outclass me in almost every way, like that Honda NSX. And that Corvette Grand Sport, which I somehow managed to pass. And then I got rear-ended, I can tell. Restart. Because these guys are cheating. Cheating. Oh, let's look at Camaros here. That's right. Chevrolet Camaro LTRS. So it's like the turbo 4-cylinder. Japan always gets like the worst version of Camaros after a certain point. It's really too bad. Although I did find the 20th anniversary Corvette or Corvette Camaro. The Catfish Camaro. Oh, look at that. Aliasing. I've never seen a Honda NSX shimmer so much. Graphics really have come kind of a long way, haven't they? I mean, to be fair, I think Xbox 360 games and PS3 games hold up pretty well still. Although, to be quite honest, Jaggies were always sort of were never something I was the most fond of. I hate it when people put ask as prices on their cars. Like, dude, I don't know. Second gen Camaros, man, those like the early second gens. Sheesh. Oh, now look at this guy, Z28, 1979. That one is pretty cool. I restarted again. Chevrolet Camaro SS. We got a Porsche. I don't know which one it is. They all look kind of the same to me, except for the Boxster and the Cayman S, and I'm fishtailing because that guy, that Schmidt, man, you gotta watch out for Schmidt. There we go. I think this, what the Camaro, the Catfish Camaro, the later model years, they got like the LS, but I can't remember which LS engine they got. Was it the 2 or the 1? Is that no, that's not a Ferrari. That's something else, but it's Italian. Just kind of bringing this F body up against some cars that are made to finesse. Now, I don't know what frame rate the Xbox 360 is. What is it? There's a lot of uneven frame pacing. I'm noticing that. That's really weird. You don't notice it in gameplay, but now that I'm watching this... Or wait, it might be just me steering, I forgot. Hang on, I gotta look at the surroundings here. No, yeah, there's a little bit of uneven. Just a little bit. What are you gonna do? I am running this off the hard drive though, so it is running in the most optimal, well, I assume it's the most optimal way, because the hard drive is going to be faster than the disc, so it's a really nice feature because it saves the optical drive. It's too bad the PS3 doesn't have that capability. Well, I guess like some games, the way the PS3 is set up, it's made to like install some parts of a game to the hard drive and then read other parts directly off the disc. You know. I don't know, PS3 is so weird. But I like it. I like its weirdness. Gotta... I'm chasing a sedan. What is that? An Audi. Okay. That's why. Oh yeah, that's that's definitely like frame rate issue. I can't unsee it, man. Like I've seen, and look at that slowdown. I don't know if it's like targeting 60. I captured this at 30 frames per second. This was before I realized I could change the capture frame rate. I thought it was just like fixed at 30 frames per second, but I could actually up it to 60. But oh, that was a crash. I gotta restart. The Camaro SS. I know I can beat these guys. Although the Grand Sport, the C4 Grand Sport is really underperforming here. Really underperforming in like the worst way. Like I shouldn't be shooting past them like that. I don't think the Catfish Camaro was that fast. Unless you just got a really bad launch. I don't know. It could be just like the difficulty settings. This is still early in the campaign, and like the AI drivers are probably like low level, but some of these passes don't exactly make the most sense, especially so early on. Like would this Camaro keep pace with an NSX? Well, maybe. Well, you know, I guess I shouldn't be saying too much, just because like I know I've seen like that clips from that Japanese show where they have like race car drivers get into, you know, popular performance cars and K cars and like, you know, race them around a track, and you know, some of the results can be pretty surprising. Like I remember seeing a Honda City racing, a Honda City, which is like a small, like a kind of, you take a Honda Civic hatchback and like make it smaller. That's a Honda City. It was a Honda City, which is just like a 3-speed automatic, you know, maybe like 70 horsepower 4-cylinder engine kind of car, going up against a, you know, a Miata, a regular MX-5, and like it won on the track. And it's like, how do you, the Miata is like the sports car of all time, you know? And so like the fact that a Honda City, just like a grocery getter, you know, marketed for female drivers specifically, easy to drive, you know, low what is it, skill to entry kind of car. Man, look at that uneven frame pacing. What is happening right now? You know, I'm wondering if this is the 360 doing it, or if it's my it might be the capture, honestly, because I don't remember it looking like this when I was playing it. And it does do this a lot with Sonic Adventure 2 for the Dreamcast. So I'm wondering if maybe this might be the computer having issues capturing, because like there's no way it looked this bad. Like I've played games that perform like this. GTA 4 on my first computer I ever owned, which I want to do a video about actually. My plan, what I want to do is, my brother is retrieving for me the rest of my 360 games, as he's going to be sending them to me. And he one of those games is GTA 4 for the 360, and so what I want to do is, you know, me being the insane person I am, I want to actually play through GTA 4 on 360, PS3, and PC, like, and you know, record that footage and like compare it, and compare the two console versions against my current computer, and my original computer, which was what I was originally playing GTA 4 on. That I think would be a pretty cool video, at least for me, because I always was curious, like when I first played GTA 4 on my computer, I'm like, dang, you mean to tell me that this computer is basically a PS3? Because my friend had a PS3, and that's where I played a lot of GTA 4. And so when I got it for sale on Steam for my computer, and I saw that it could run that game, I'm just like, dang, you mean to tell me that this is a PS3 then? Like a portable PS3? And I don't actually remember entirely how the game actually ran. And so I think it would be pretty cool to sort of look back and like compare a modern PC to the console originals to how I was personally experiencing the game at home. So I think that would be a pretty cool video. But that's probably that won't happen until 2025, I think. I already have a lot of other projects planned. Well, a lot. I don't want to say a lot of projects, but I have other ideas for videos that are going to take prominence, just because like I was in the middle of making one when freaking Sonic and Shadow Generations came out. I was able to get it 3 days early, so I kind of like put that other project on the side because I wanted to play and talk about and record and everything. Sonic and Shadow Generations. That's a game that I had been looking forward to pretty much all year. So yeah. In fact, I have a video uploading where I S rank Radical Highway with no Doom Wing, because that's like a mission. Not a mission, but like an option you can choose, and I didn't have a record for that yet. And I'm like, well, I'm going to S rank this bad boy. I had already A ranked them, but S ranking them, man, it was tough. But I did it, and that video is going to be also 2 hours long, so have fun with that. I hope people can enjoy that. I had a lot of fun making it, so. Like, yeah, my Sonic and Shadow Generations video is still under construction, but then like the next video I plan on doing after that is actually another comparison. A lot smaller in scale, though. It's going to be a comparison between Princess Peach's Showtime and Balan's Wonder World. And I know that might sound random, but I actually found some things similar with those games, and I want to sort of do a deeper dive on them. So, and that will probably be like the end of 2024, I think, in terms of projects. The next thing I want to do after that is I already finished the first Yakuza game. And so what I want to do is I want to do a comparison between the first Yakuza game and Shenmue. I already have Shenmue on the Dreamcast as well as a PC, but I'm going to do Shenmue on the Dreamcast first. Just for the sake of continuity. I captured the first Yakuza off of native PS2 hardware, including through, composite video. And so it would be like kind of jarring to like switch back from blurry composite video from 2001 to like HD, like captured straight from the PC on OBS at 60 frames per second. You know what I mean? So for the sake of I'm sure there's probably like a thing I could do with AI where I could just send it the Yakuza like footage, and like it'll make it look sharper through some kind of like interpolation algorithm or whatever. But I don't know, I like that original aesthetic anyway. I am in the market for an CECHA series PS3, and I found one. I might get that. I'm not sure. I'm still wishy-washy on it, but I might. That one is backwards compatible with the PS2 natively because it has the Emotion Engine processor inside it, which is the CPU, of course, for the PS2. That's pretty cool. It's actually funny. Originally, I was looking on my favorite auctions site, Yahoo Auctions, for a PS3 CECHA series PS3, and those things cause bid wars like you wouldn't imagine. They don't get like super expensive, but I don't have the patience to get into a bid war on a Tuesday afternoon with people who have nothing better to do. So I'd rather just buy one. And so I found one for sale. It's showing that it's in a box, but I don't really know. And personally, I don't quite care. At the same time, though, I would also like to, I don't know, either upgrade my PC or get a console that can play modern games, so I don't have to worry about, meeting the minimum specs. Because my computer is kind of, I mean, it's not potato core yet, but I feel like all the editing and everything that I've done over the 3 years that I've had it has really, on top of all the games that I've played on it, is probably like wearing its components out, maybe. So, there are so many things, and I need to upgrade my phone too. My phone's turning into a potato faster than I'm willing to accept. Just everything, man. Everything, like 2024, 2025 is just like the years of the upgrade. Upgrade apartments are I would like to do that too. That's getting into too much, but yeah. I learned that Amazon does like installment payments, and so I'm like, oh, you mean to tell me I could get a PS5 Pro and like pay in 2 installments over the course of 2 months, half down and then the other half the next month? I mean, that's still pretty expensive, though. In fact, let me look. But then I look at the Xbox Series X, and like that thing is actually not that expensive. The problem is like no games come out for it. And like all the games that come out for the Series X typically come out for the PS5 eventually. Yeah, so 2 payments, 50,992 yen down, and then the next month a second payment of 50,992 yen. It's only 101,000 yen. Huh. It's actually cheaper. Huh. It's actually cheaper than I thought it normally retailed at. Although it's probably just like, maybe it's because it doesn't come with the disc drive. You'll have to buy that separately. And, to be honest, well, I would like to get a disc drive for it eventually. But if I don't get it right away, I wouldn't have my feelings hurt about it. Of course, the only problem is, like, I get the PS5 Pro, like, the first month I can't do anything with it because it's like, it's so, like, the first 2 months, because it's so expensive up front that, like, okay, you got the cost of entry, but now you gotta wait another month to actually get a game for it. Oh, man. Get an OG PS5. or get a gaming PC, like a new gaming PC. Those can run pretty expensive too, but I found a couple of decent ones. But the 50 series cards are coming out, and I really do not want to repeat the blunder of 2020 when I bought this laptop. I don't know if I've told this story already, but when I bought my gaming PC, the current laptop that I use, it's an MSI GF65. It's the Intel with the i7 hexa-core CPU with the with 16 gigs of RAM and the RTX 2060. I was like, "Ooh, RTX. That's like the new one. It's not GTX. It's at the time RTX, ray tracing and all that. That was like that current generation of graphics card." I didn't know at the time though that the RTX cards really didn't have the kind of performance boost ahead of the higher end GTX 10 series cards, or like the 1660 or whatever was pretty much identical. And so like I didn't realize it at that time. I didn't know. All I saw was RTX 2060. I'm like, oh man. And it's like the most expensive thing I've ever bought. 168,000 yen. So it was actually more expensive than a PS5 Pro is now, which is insane to think about because inflation in Japan has been mostly stable. It hasn't really gone up tremendously. And so still this computer, if I bought a PS5 Pro, it wouldn't have been the most expensive thing I've ever bought, if you can imagine that. And so basically, I dropped 168,000 yen on this, and it shipped. I got it, and already there was something wrong with the space bar. It wasn't installed properly or something, and now of course it's shattered. It doesn't. It's in 4 pieces now. But it shipped broken. But aside from that, another thing was that 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after buying this computer, MSI released their gaming laptops with the 30 series cards in them. And the price of the GF65, the exact computer that I have now, dropped like 50%. And so I don't want to repeat that. So I don't know. I am in the market for a gaming PC, and I would really prefer it if it was a gaming desktop, because they have more efficient cooling. They're just better with cooling, and they're better with of course desktop components have better performance because it's not tied to the concept of preserving battery power. Like the RTX 2060, of course, in this computer isn't like a real 2060. It's a mobile version, and so it actually has the similar performance to like a GTX 10 series card. I don't remember which one, but from a desktop. And the fact that these cards already don't really have the same kind of performance advantage over the previous generation, even in their desktop forms. It's just man. I don't regret getting this computer though. It still runs games fairly well, but I just feel like I really, over these years, all of the video, especially the video rendering and the video games that I've played on it, I think have really put it through the ringer. And I think it's time that this thing is retired to being my capture device, perhaps. or entertainment device. I don't know. The thing is, I have what I could capture my console footage on is actually not my MSI, but a different laptop. The second laptop, I should say, that I've ever owned. It's a Lenovo IdeaPad. Was it a Lenovo IdeaPad Audio by Harman? It's like a 510 or something. And this has the dual core i5 Intel with the NVIDIA GeForce 940 MX graphics card. It was at the time an entry level gaming laptop. It was advertised to be like a Fortnite machine. It basically is, honestly. It's basically on par with like the Switch, I think. Maybe a little bit more capable, but probably, I don't know. I mean, it can run Doom, but even though I haven't tried it, this machine probably couldn't run Doom. This guy has been put through the ringer so much. It'll probably worse than my MSI because this thing also had to travel places. So, yeah, but that's what I use to record footage. And, yeah, I don't know. I just, there's so much, I have all these consoles and stuff, and like, it's like all old stuff. And it's like, I have no problem getting all these old things, but as soon as it's like a new thing I need to get, it's like, oof. When I think about 101,000 yen? Yeah, 101,000 yen in 2 installments for a PS5 Pro. It's like, ooh, that's pretty expensive. But then I'm like, wait a minute. This computer was like 168,000 when I got it. And the PS5 Pro is way more capable than this computer is. I'm just going to be real. I know a lot of PC guys are like, just buy a PC, don't waste your money on a PS5 Pro. And I get it. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to use the bathroom, but I'm just going to keep this game running. Why the not? So then you might wonder, why not just a normal PS5? Because those things are pretty cheap, right? It depends on where you go. There are some... What is that? Is that a ruler? Oh. Anyway. It depends on where you go. If you're getting a pre-owned, like, normal, like, not as slim, but like a launch PS5, those guys can probably vary in price wildly. They really do. Sometimes they're pretty cheap. I've seen them go for as little as 33,000 yen. But then sometimes a pre-owned, still a used one will be like 57, almost 60,000 yen. And like, yeah, you're getting like still like a 3,000 yen discount compared to the disk drive like slim model, but it's like at that point, like, gosh, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking out loud, right? Because I'm thinking about the future, you know, thinking about the future, what I want to do, you know, in the future for this channel, for gaming, you know, for a gaming channel. Because I do really like, I like thinking about this stuff. I don't know. But that, like, the tricky thing about the installment payments too, right? Something that needs to be considered is like you might have like the 50,000 this month. Will you have the 50,000 next month, or maybe something might come up, you know, that sort of thing. And that's where things can start to get a little, you know, iffy, especially in Japan, because if you not repaying your debts in Japan is a lot more taboo than it is in America. And like I've heard from from Japanese people, it's like, yeah, if you don't make like payments on time because you can't afford it, like on a loan or on a credit card or whatever, like you're just going to be blacklisted and nobody's going to give you, it's going to be like almost impossible to find a loan anywhere with anyone. Completely different system in America where it's like, oh, stupid person thinks a stupid person can be can be taken advantage of. We can trick them into getting a loan that we know they can't afford and have them pay on it for the rest of their lives and make like a 3,000% profit. Bet, like, you know what I mean? Gosh, I'll never forget. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I saw this video. It was a short, I think. It was I think it was a short on YouTube where this girl just had gotten it was either a Nissan Rogue or like a Dodge Durango or something. I don't know. It was some kind of like SUV or something. But she was like, they're like, look at this new car owner. And it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, how much is it a month? $300 a month. How many months? 256. Like, how 256 months on a car that's not going to hold its trade-in value? Like, oh, 256 months divided by 12. It's like 20 years. It's a mortgage. $300 a month for the next 21 years? Nah. That's the stupidest decision ever. But that's the American system, right? Even if they, like, of course, credit scores, you know, dictate to a lot of places. But if you're like credit one or something, like you'll extend lines of credit to pretty much anyone at that point. You know, I wonder what kind of rates I would be able to qualify for with credit one. Do I want to go into more debt? No, but yeah, let's see. Can I check? You know what? Actually, I'm gonna open this in incognito here. I don't know why I'm doing this. I live in Japan. My American credit scores mean nothing out here. But credit one. See, it looks like their logo looks like Capital One. So you think you're like getting like a boutique, like, oh, access denied. Well, I guess we answered that question. Credit one. Well, how about Capital One? Capital One. I used to get Credit One letters in the mail all the time when I was in college because, well, college kids are easy to trick with that kind of stuff. Fee-free checking accounts. Let's see. Smart way to shop. Bank without fees. Find a car you love. Oh. Explore. Let's see here. I want to explore my options so that I can work on my credit. Put credit-wise in your pocket. Enabling communities to thrive. Products. Let's see. See if I'm pre-approved. Let's see, there's a Platinum MasterCard. There's the Venture Rewards. Okay, so Platinum MasterCard, Platinum. See, they make it sound like it's some premium product, but that's for people with fair credit. Let's see, and then for Venture Rewards is for people with excellent credit. Then Quicksilver is for excellent also, but like a different. Earn unlimited 2 miles per dollar on every purchase. Oh, that's probably like air miles or something. Plus 5 miles per dollar on hotels, vacations, rental. Okay, that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, the Platinum MasterCard. That's so dumb. I really don't like that. It's like, what? That is incredibly... Look at this. So, this is how they trick, like, marketing departments, like, fool people into thinking they're getting something good, right? Your base model has, like, the name of a precious, like one of the rarest precious metals, or like one of the most valuable precious metals you can find. So, right, platinum. But that's like for the poor, right? And like purchase and transfer APR 29.99% variable APR. Cash advance fee. Hang on, what's 0% APR for 15 months? Like it's crazy. Saver rewards, good credit. Spark 2% cash plus. They have so many different friggin' Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Bass, Kohl's. That's insane. Now I'm gonna get friggin' ads for that. That's great. I love it. But yeah, that's the American style. So what was I talking about? Yeah, PS5 Pro. Yeah, so installment payments and everything. Now, the nice thing is that I have a good number of points that I've... Japan has no shortage of point card systems. And I'm sure America is pretty similar nowadays, but I am a proud card-holding D-point member. And because I don't use my D points, I just build them. I have like 2,700 something points, which can translate on Amazon Prime to 1 yen per point. so I can get a discount of up to 2,700 yen. Looking at that through the lens of like the initial payment on a PS5 Pro, not much of a dent, honestly. Oh man, I just want something time proof is all. Because like a lot of games that are coming out now, like the AAA stuff, and even stuff like Sonic and Shadow Generations, I was so shocked that my computer struggled to run it. Shadow Generations, it couldn't, for some reason, it couldn't hit the 120 FPS target, which was really weird. But I did also notice at the same time, and look, I'm running it off the SSD in the computer, so it's not like, it's not like it's a hard drive issue. It's an SSD. I think it's just I had to bring it down to 60, and even then it still will hitch on a little bit at 60 FPS, and I just think it's because the computer is just getting old. And so it can still render videos though, and I'm kind of thinking, when it comes to the AAA stuff, at least, because I look at the minimum specification requirements for these newer games coming out. Like I was looking at the new Indiana Jones game, for example, and that one, my computer would be able to run, but like it doesn't look like it would be able to run it well. So I would like to have if I'm trying to think, like a dedicated gaming machine, and then like a computer for like indie games and capture and editing and rendering videos. Kind of like outsourcing all of that computing, I guess. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Now, the nice thing is that so my setup as it is right now is pretty much maxed out. Maybe if I got an Xbox Series X, there would be a place for me where I could put it like in my current gaming setup. But also, to be honest, this table that I use can only support up to 30 kilograms. I think I'm starting to approach that with all this, with all these things on it. And so do I really want to push my luck with that? But because the Series X is a wireless thing, like wireless controller and whatnot, I could put it like in the other side of the room. And it would probably, the other side of the room being like maybe 7 feet away from me where I'm standing. Something like that. I don't know. Options. Series X is pretty cool. I like that it's small and it's like a simple shape. For a room of my kind, I very much appreciate simple shapes. It's one of the things I don't like about this PS3 is because it has a curved top. I can't really put anything on it unless it matches that contour. And so, it's whatever, if it is in a stack wherever, it's got to be on top. And so that's one of the reasons why I thought about, if you watched my Sonic and Shadow Generations video, I talked about getting a PS4 Pro. And the reason why I thought about that, one of the biggest arguments in favor of that was because the PS4 Pro is flat on the top. And so I could put it under my PS3. Right? And so that's like the idea. And because the PS4 Pro, it can still like run, the enhanced versions of PS4 games. And they still make PS4 games, right? So you have that performance bump. But at the same time, PS4 Pro is probably, now that the PS5 Pro is out, maybe the PS4 stuff is going to start going away soon, because that would be my kind of luck. My idea then, PS5 Pro will probably see life for the next 10 years. If the PS4 is anything to go by, right? That's like my thinking, right? And in the meantime, I could, then build up the money to get a proper gaming desktop, while still continuing to edit and record and everything, videos on my current computers, which still are perfectly functioning. That's how I'm rationalizing it. But the problem with the PS5 in general is that it's such an odd shape that, I will have to stand it upright. At least in my current living situation, I would definitely have to stand it up. There's no place for me to lie it sideways. Xbox Series X, on the other hand, has a relatively small footprint and stands up totally fine by itself as it is. And I could put that either 7 feet away from me or literally right next to me, because I do have a spot where I could theoretically probably place it. But Xbox Series X, actually the Series X would probably, even in the next gen, continue to see life, seeing how Xbox has sort of changed its whole direction in terms of supporting hardware support. Although they did, get rid of the backwards compatibility thing again. I mean, they did that with the Xbox One. They did that with the Xbox 360. So it's no surprise to me that they ended that with the Series consoles also. I did think about a Series S, but then I realized, for just $200 more, I could get the option to have an HD Blu-ray drive, and that would be that's just nice to have the option, right? So all these things. And the main draw for me with the Series X is the fact that, there are some games that are on the Xbox consoles that even aren't on the PC. Well, one in particular, and that is Halo 5. And I would like to do sort of like a Halo kind of main series retrospective. Because I've been revisiting... Well, I've been playing through Halo, the Halo games on the Master Chief Collection on my computer. The game, that runs flawlessly, of course. Well, kind of. Halo Combat Evolved runs great in its original form. But man, if I press the tab key, there is so much stuttering and indecisive. The game just almost, I thought it crashed at one point, because switching between the modern, the remake, the remastered and the original graphics was so, for some reason, taxing on the machine. It was so dumb. But I prefer the original visual aesthetic anyway. Yeah. Oh, I just realized I'm not saying anything. Yeah, you know, it's good stuff. Things I'm thinking about. But I have a feeling that like the what is it? The Xbox Series X would probably continue to get support. And I think the Xbox One will probably continue to get support despite the fact that it's very likely nobody's playing Xbox One anymore. Man, I really wanted to believe in the Xbox One. Because the 360, when I was a kid, the 360 was like this cool, like the coolest thing. We would have like these book fairs, at school. And, of course, the books obviously were the main draw, but like in the catalog, you would see Xbox 360 Elite, and it's black. And it has like this, it just has that cool design. And I'm just like, man, that thing is like the gaming machine. That's like peak gaming. Like the look of it looked like peak game hardware, The only thing that I'll ever really like match that aesthetic for me was the PS2. I was always I should say I was very slow coming around on the PS2 as a concept, if I'm going to be totally honest. And mostly because everybody had a PS2, and I grew up with the GameCube, and I thought the GameCube was the coolest thing. And I saw PS2 games, and I was always kind of baffled that such a weak. As a game, PS2 games looked so primitive compared to what I was used to on the GameCube. I was playing Rogue Squadron 3 and like Super Mario Sunshine. What else was there? Mario Kart Double Dash is still a really good looking game. Luigi's Mansion, all these games. And then I see like GTA 3 or GTA San Andreas on PS2, and it's got that like iconic renderware look in the the character models, and I'm just like, man, that looks so primitive. Of course, me not understanding at the time the fact that like the boundaries being pushed with a game like that wasn't really possible, I think, on the GameCube. Mostly thanks to, I believe, the disk space, perhaps. But, like, at the same time, though, when you talk about, like, Resident Evil 4, right? The PS2 version is the one that, like, people talk about, but, like, the GameCube and Xbox had, like, much better versions, even than the PC back in the day. And that's not me saying that. That's Digital Foundry demonstrating it. That's one of my favorite videos. I go back and watch it from time to time. But like, yeah. But now, of course, I love my PS2. I put a lot of hours into that. I mean, earlier this year, I played a lot of like Gran Turismo 3 just for myself. I didn't record anything, and Shadow the Hedgehog worked beautifully on it. And Sonic Riders, no problem. Like, I don't know. I really enjoy my time with this PS2. I use it. I try to use it only when I absolutely need to, though, just because I know that these disc drives. I have a fat PS2, mostly because one, they're cheap. They're like 10 times cheaper than the slim models, but like, it's cheap and aesthetically, just to me, looks better. But I know I can already tell that the disk drive is probably starting to fail, or not starting to fail, but it's like it's getting kind of old, right? Which is why going back, I'm in the market for a CHEC A series PS3. It all comes full circle. Because see, not only, I mean, the biggest risk with the CECH A series PS3 is as the Japanese like to put it, YLOD. YOLD. Or YLOD, yeah. It's the yellow light of death. Because of course cooling was an issue on the launch PS3 because of the Emotion engine included in there, and I'm sure when they launched the PS3 Slim, one of the ways they were able to slim that down was probably like, consolidating something with the cell or whatever into like the Xbox 360, for example. When the Xbox 360 launched, it had the IBM, Power PC based CPU, and then like the what was it, an ATI graphics processor? Had two separate, chips basically, and they would get hot, and a lot of the times like the heat would end up like there was something, I don't know, it would overheat and it would do the red ring of death. That usually meant, there was like an internal hardware failure. Typically that was fixed by just like replacing a cable or something, but that was something Microsoft did when they fixed those consoles. But those had like such a high failure rate, those launch models. However, when they made the slim models, they were able to make it slim while also improving cooling, because like they figured out a way to put the CPU and the GPU on the same die, and they were able to make them like run cooler or something. I read that on Wikipedia somewhere. I could be totally like I could be oversimplifying it grossly, but I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. They went from having like two dedicated like chips to like just one whole system on a chip. That's how they were able to make it, the slim model, run cooler than the original, despite like all of the fan noise that was made. I remember I had a friend back in elementary school who was an early adopter of the Xbox 360 when it launched. And man, that thing was loud. It sounded like a jet engine. But when I was a kid, I'm like, it sounds like a jet engine, but that's the price you pay for the power you're getting. Because at the time, I thought the original Xbox was like peak graphics. I thought there was nothing, as a kid, seeing Halo 2, seeing just those games alone, to me was just like, there's no beating this. Games can't look better than these, or more realistic, And then here comes the 360, and like I'm seeing what games did I see on that? What was it? I don't even remember actually, but like, was it because Halo 3 didn't come out until like a couple years into the lifespan? I think in like 07, I think 08. And so I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't Gears of War, I don't think, was it? Or was it like was it Call of Duty 3? My earliest memory of Call of Duty 3 was actually the PS2 version. And that was the coolest thing ever. Call of Duty 3 was like a cross-gen game, and it's probably like the cross-gen game, I think, from that time, because like that was released on pretty much every console, every home console except for the Dreamcast, of course, that was available at the time. It was on GameCube, PS2, Xbox, Wii, PS3, and Xbox 360. And not PC, of course, everybody knows, because that was a console exclusive game while Infinity Ward worked on Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. But like, gosh, I remember playing that on PS2 and thinking like, man, this is amazing. This is so epic, action packed. And it was exactly the way I imagined like a World War II movie would play out. And it was just so cool. And then it was so cool, in fact, that when I later on found a copy of Call of Duty 3 for Xbox 360, when I was living in Hawaii, of course I had to grab that. Why did I drive into the grass? That was dumb. Yeah, and of course I got past. Forza 2 actually was a big draw for me to get the 360 actually. I remember Forza 2 being demonstrated or being shown Forza 2 by my cousin who had a 360. And he also demonstrated Halo Combat Evolved, a Halo CE, anniversary for 360. And I wasn't really that fun because he was showing me like the updated graphics, and I remembered feeling like, I'm not really. I like the original better. I don't know if it's nostalgia. I think it's just the art direction. Yeah. Of course. It's funny. I got a Wii U of course, to play Wii U games, but most importantly, to simplify recording Wii games. I don't know why. The Wii is just a nightmare sometimes to get working with OBS properly. Because it puts out such an odd resolution through component cables. It puts out 480p, right? But OBS doesn't go that low. I think the lowest it goes is like 648 by something. And so, but like it doesn't, the converter I go through, because I have component cables. I don't like capturing composite if I don't have to. And component cables for the Wii's are really easy to find because it shares the same composite component input output as the Wii U. So just get a Wii U component cable thing, like aftermarket or whatever. And I have it in this HDMI converter, which was an adventure to get. And that goes into my, my capture card and everything goes into OBS, but it just doesn't want to cooperate. It's this HDMI component to HDMI converter that kind of like messes with everything. And it's not the converter's fault, like exclusively. It's just like, going from a straight HDMI, thing to like a converter taking, I don't know. I mean, this thing requires its own like outboard power source to function, which is crazy, but yeah, once I got the Wii U, I'm like, yeah, I'm playing Wii games and capturing Wii games on this. It'll look cleaner, and it will just work better overall with OBS. And plus, I can play Wii U games. So, kind of a win-win there. Simplicity, and you can expand the library of games you're able to play. So the Wii will basically just turns into a GameCube at that point. Yeah. Good stuff. I'm looking at my first Super Famicom. I have two. The first one I got had an AV out problem. My guess is it's a bad capacitor or something. That's what I read. Someone's opinion on Reddit. I also have another PS2. Of course, I captured that dying, actually. I captured the moment my first PS2 died, which is pretty funny. Man, good times. Good times. My Saturn still works. The N64 still works. The Dreamcast still works. Everything else still works. Well, I have how many laptops do I have? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have 5 laptops. None of them are Joe Biden or Hunter Biden's. Well, I ruined that joke. Anyway, so my first one was the HP. That I've had that since high school and it still works. Then the Lenovo. This one I got in 2016 because my HP was having cooling problems, and I thought, well, I guess now is the time to replace it. So I did, much to the chagrin of my mom, who doesn't understand, of course, the fact that electronics get old. She thought I was just spending money because I could. Whatever. And then my MSI, which I got on 2020, because my Lenovo was becoming a potato. And then I have a Fujitsu laptop, which never talked about before. The Fujitsu laptop I got with the intent of being the thing that I just take around to work on stuff, like really basic stuff. I'm talking like Open Office or Google Docs, just like the Office suite, like productivity suite stuff, word processing, that kind of thing. Like maybe emails, very basic things. And I used it twice, and then no more did it work. It just stopped. From what I did some cursory research, and it looked like that the hard drive on there is dead, so that's fun. There's something on there that I actually did work on that's now just like stuck on that hard drive, but whatever. Then of course I have an NEC, I think, La Vie. It's a 2003 laptop that I have Windows 98 SE installed on. I did that with the intent of playing games on it. Little did I know that it had that the AMD Duron 998 megahertz, I think it is, CPU, despite the fact that it has an enormously higher clock speed, won't run the 190s game that I have all the discs for, because that was made specifically for Intel MMX Pentiums. And so even though your Pentium has to have like a minimum clock speed of 60 megahertz, my computer can't brute force the game because it doesn't have that MMX what is it? I forgot the word. Is it sub-architecture or instruction set? It's one of those two. And so it's like, well, okay, so I guess I'll just have to go and I'll have to build one, honestly. Building an Intel computer, like an old Pentium computer, is really like the best way to go about it. So, but that's That's way in the future. Way in the, well, not way in the future. First of all, I need a bigger apartment. That's the first thing. Bigger apartment. Because space is at a premium in here now. Even after I like reorganized everything, still it's not enough. It's never enough. But yeah, more space, and then I can sort of start doing more. Yep. Yepperonis. I don't know why I'm talking about the state of the channel now. I was talking about the gamer. Well, I talked about a lot of gaming stuff too. Gosh, time really flies. How far am I into this? An hour and a half? About an hour left. Look at that. Well, I'll leave you with some engine noise for a second, and I'll be right back. You know what my dream gaming setup is? So, my dream gaming setup, I don't know if I've already talked about this. No, I don't think I have. But like ideally, I would just have like a room composed just entirely of like games stuff, right? And I would fashion it after like a Japanese like hobby or game store. I have one chain specifically in mind because I just really like the atmosphere of that kind of place. Medio. A lot of Japanese stores are like extremely well lit, like brightly lit, I should say, and you know, very open, which is kind of strange considering, you know, you think Japan in real estate is kind of at a premium. But that's not really the case with a lot of like large retailers. But Medio, the store chain I like to go to, is actually the opposite. It's much, the colors are kind of like earthier. kind of a brown, I guess a lot of brown, but like not only that, of course, there's like neutral colors. That's what I mean, and it's not so brightly lit. I like low light um, environments, and so like I would have like a low light environment, and I would have like shelves. Not on those shelves, I would have all of my games in alphabetical order, but like not by console, but by franchise. And so, every game in that franchise that I have is in chronological order. Right? Does that make sense? So like the franchise name is alphabetized, but then the games within that collection aren't alphabetized. They are in chronological order of release. And that's how I would organize it. And there's just like shelves and shelves of stuff. And then I would have a CRT monitor, and all of my like retro consoles or consoles that don't put out HDMI would go to that CRT TV. And specifically for light gun games, I really like light gun games. And of course, with the older consoles, you can't really play light gun games on like in this LCD or LED screen, and so you have to use a CRT, and I like that. So the CRT for that. And then on the other side, all of the consoles that do like digital video out, HDMI, that sort of thing, they would go to like a big high resolution like monitor, not a TV, but like a monitor, as well as like a nice beefy gaming PC. And they would like, I don't know if they would either share like one big desk, like the TV and the monitor will either share the same desk or have two different ones, and then like the consoles will be kept on like racks or something. I think that would be pretty cool. And like all my capture stuff would happen like behind that desk or something. All my recording stuff. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. You can like easily access it. Now I'd have like all the infrastructure I would need, like an HDMI splitter and like HDMI splitters and HDMI switchers and AV switchers and for like the VGA box for the Dreamcast and all that stuff. That's what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would do. That would be so cool. That would just be like the game room, right? And like I would have like a bunch of it would be really cool, I think, to like do streams, like stream games. I think that's like more engaging with people. Of course, there's a lot of people who already do that, but and like I would have in the background like figures. Figures are so easy to come by in Japan. I would just like decorate like the back of the room with like all these figures. One figure that I really want to get that's just super expensive is Ryza from Atelier. Ryza, those. It's like a trilogy of games. I have the first one on the Switch, and I really want one of those figures, but they're expensive, like weirdly expensive. Talking like I've seen the cheapest I've seen one of them go for is like 13,000 yen. It's crazy. Oh, I went into the grass, but that Mustang is throwing on his brakes for some reason. What was that for? He didn't need to do that. Alrighty, I'm yawning. It's only 11 in the morning. It's because I haven't had that second coffee yet. That's the problem. I really like coffee, but I like man's coffee. Oh, okay, that's stupid. No, basically I like black coffee for the most part. Although I will have to say, I have to admit, I'm not really a huge fan of lattes anymore. Like, I used to drink them pretty often, but like now I just don't. I don't actually like the aftertaste of the cream. Which is really weird, right? But I will say, Georgia Coffee in Japan put out the mocha recently, and that is divine. I mean, the caffeine content is nowhere near enough, but it's really good. I really like it. I just realized I have a VCR. It's hard to find VHS tapes now. It wasn't so difficult like a couple years up until last year. It was pretty easy to find VHS tapes, and now it's just really tough. I have a VCR and it works, but I don't have much to like play on it. I do have a few movies. One of them is Inner Space. And that's definitely like a Sunday afternoon kind of like you fold your laundry while listening to it in the background sort of movie. Inner Space. It's who is it by? It's by the same guy who did Gremlins, I think, and it was produced by Steven Spielberg. If I think that's right. I think that Spielberg had some part in it, but he wasn't the director. And Inner Space, that was like a big thing. And my copy's from like '88. It's probably the oldest VHS tape I've ever owned. But and it's in the clamshell case is really cool because it reminds me of the kind of clamshell cases rental VHSs came in at like Blockbuster or when I was a kid. We didn't have Blockbuster, but we did have a rental store within the Wegmans grocery store because I'm from New York, and so we would occasionally go in there and get those. Pick out our own, and so the clamshell case reminds me of that, of those tapes, because I don't know, it has like that kind of interesting like textured cover, and like the clamshell is slightly smaller, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it, and the movie was fine. I think it's one of those movies that's best served in the VHS format, just because of the audio quality and everything. I also have another movie called Checkered Flag, and that movie is also like, I mean, that movie's it's. I don't even know how to describe it except for like a made-for-TV movie that got a video release. You know, if you know the movie Gran Turismo, that movie that came out last year, I think. Basically, it's like Gran Turismo but from 1990. And like all of the cultural cliches that came from like the early 90s, the late 80s, and like character writing and protagonists and love triangles and all that fun stuff. basically that movie. It's yeah, not even a popcorn movie. It's more like a, yeah. I don't know what else to call it, but yeah. It's fun though. That tape is broken though. Well, not broken, but like near the end, the tape just dies. And my VCR doesn't like it and stops the movie and spits it out. So I've never actually seen the end of it, but I kind of don't need to. So it's fine. And then of course I have the original Star Wars trilogy in their unaltered form. I think those were the last chance. That was like the last chance box for the Star Wars movies. So those are cool. They are all in good condition. And of course, I ripped them. I need to correct the aspect ratio, though. But aside from that, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this VCR. I just, you know what? Actually, let me look. Let me look on Yahoo Auctions. Let's see what VHS tapes they have on there. Most of the VHS tapes I find, when I do find them in the wild, is usually like some boy band, you know, their Tokyo Dome performance or something, or like a band from the 90s performing in 2004, you know, at Tokyo Dome or Budokan or something like that. And it's like, man, if I had any investment in this group, I would consider it. But VHS, let's see here. What VHS tapes can I find? Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, Team 5. Is that a workout video? No, it's not a workout video. That is a gravure video. Is that... Ah, the case is disintegrating. What year did this come out? Is this 80s? Hang on. Japanese publishers are like really weird about putting copyright dates on their stuff. Well, they have her 3 size measurements. That's important. Oh, man. Oh, no, it's 45 minutes. Where's the copyright date? It's definitely not going to be on the cassette itself. Saki Morimura and Mika Obayashi. What, 2 for the price of 1? 45 minutes of girls going around in high leg one piece and bikini. What's this? Oh, are these all blank tapes? Yeah, those are all blank tapes. Let's see here. Any movies? This looks like horror movies. Death Women 2? Death Body? Death Women? What is that? Is that like body horror? $25,500 for... Oh, wow. We have people bidding on this, actually. The Death Body and Death Women series, apparently. Apparently, this is like a real thing. No claim, no return. There are 4 bidders on this. And the auction ends in 10 hours. It's 25,500 yen. Sheesh. That looks like a body horror kind of series. Okay. And can I get more results? Ah, here we go. Okay. Another gravure video. Nobody buys these. It's really interesting gravure. There's like a huge market for them. There's always like 100 new DVDs in this like kind of style that come out every year, and like they enter the secondhand market, and like they'll just sit for years and years. It's actually pretty crazy. What's this? This is a Korean movie? A very risque Korean movie, huh? The auction for this ends in 8 hours. 1,700 yen plus 480 for shipping. Huh. Let's see here. Okay, so you can still find a decent amount of VHS tapes for sale. Here's one that has just like a box full of them. Let's see, this is Phantom. F4 Phantom, okay. 93 air combat display, fighter support, F-15 Eagle, Tsuki, F-15J Eagle, the final step, was that T2? There's a glare, I can't really see. So this is coming from someone who obviously has an affinity for aircraft. Oh, Chitose, that's what that says. This guy likes their F-15s. I think there's one about a tank. Oh, interesting. It's just this box full of them. Starting at 1 yen, there's one bidder for it. I think they're gonna come away with a lot of. They're gonna come away with a lot of, a treasure haul. Videotapes in bags, just plastic, like garbage bags full of videotapes, blank ones. Starting at 1,000 yen, huh? What's this one? Oh, okay. Another Japanese movie starting at 1,000 yen. I think this is a movie. Huh. Another gravure one. Oh, this one's autographed. It's autographed, but it starts at 380 yen. That's funny. I'm gonna guess that she, this was probably like one of a handful of videos she made before she retired. No way. The Donkey Kong animated series on VHS. This is number 1. Well, I gotta save that onto my watch list. Here's a movie with a topless girl on it. It's called Penthouse. This looks like a French movie. Lady Doll. Penthouse. I don't know why, but typically movies like this end up being like French or Spanish or Italian. The German ones are typically really violent. Violent and very difficult to watch for the average viewer, in my experience. Oh, cosplay party, huh? Cosplay dance party. Is that it? That's funny. Oh, they have Pokemon on VHS. Oh, that's an investment. What is this? Dudes. What is that? I don't get it. It looks funny though. Here we go. More risque movies. Auction girl. Oh, 0 bids on this guy. Dang, there are a lot of VHS tapes. Just maybe not the ones that people want, like Gravure, just everywhere. Gravure. Oh, here's... Oh, no, never mind. Oh, there's Toy Story in Toy Story 2 for 1,100 yen. No bids. VHS. No way! Hang on a second. Dirty Pair! Which volume is this? Is this volume 3? Dirty Pair. So, Dirty Pair is an anime, and I have actually 2 of those VHS tapes. The first 2 episodes. Wait, no way, this is complete? What? Hang on, that doesn't make sense. The complete series on 1 tape? That's impossible. Does it say the runtime? 46 minutes? Yeah, no way. I'm gonna save that though. Dirty Pair. Dang. That's pretty cool. Lots of Gravure tapes. Dang. Nolan Ryan, baseball player apparently. Man, look at all. I know I'm just kind of like scrolling through auctions. I'm just trying to see if there's anything like well known other than like. Now what's this? This looks like Stalin. What's this? The news. NHK, the news. 1977 to 78. Okay. Yeah. It looks like an Idol Live. Candies Forever. Oh, that's interesting. What year was that? Does it say? 1996. Huh. I'm gonna like that. That's an interesting tape. And then more gravure. One of these looks like yeah, okay. Oh wow, there are so many copies of it, and this one's only 1,000. I'm telling you, gravure has like no resale value at all. Because people would rather just like the people who buy the stuff are usually people who have like at least in my experience, they just like having the physical thing, I guess. There's a sort of enthusiasm with just the act of collecting, I guess, as opposed to just like looking it up online for free. You know, in my experience, you know, getting something online for free, anything, kind of like cheapens the experience of having it in general. That wasn't always the case for me. Like when I was in high school and I didn't have like a disposable income to speak of or whatever. Of course, you know, downloading whole albums or whatever, you know, that was like, ah, cool, you know. That was before like streaming was a mainstream idea. And so like I appreciated that. But now that I, you know, can for the most part, you know, afford to like pay for things and stuff, it's nice to have the thing like physically, I guess. If it's available, of course. That's why I always say, like, you know, it's nice to have the option, like if there's a version of a console or even a computer, because in Japan there are computers that still ship with optical drives, new ones I should say, and so not really laptops but like desktops will, but like you know, having just like the option, just pay a little bit extra for the option to use the physical, like having the physical media is just like, I don't know, I like that, you know. But again, I'm not totally against digital stuff. I own plenty of, you know, digital, or do you own digital goods? Let's be real. But you know what I mean, like, you know, I have like 240 some games on Steam, you know, and then I have a couple of digital games on the Switch, as I've said previously. I don't have any digital games via the Xbox Live Arcade for 360. But like DLC, I've bought, you know, that sort of stuff. Oh, yeah. You know, that kind of stuff. I don't know why I'm yawning. I know why I'm yawning. The mocha. You know, if they sold the mocha hot, because they don't. Not at the convenience store I go to, at least. They don't. But if they did, oh, man, dude. That would be so good. That would be, like, perfect. One of the things I don't like about this apartment is that, like, there is a very clear draft. There is a very clear draft. You can actually see it. My curtains are swaying because there is a draft coming in through the gaps in my window. That's one thing I don't like. Because, you know, I don't know what it is. I read somewhere that, like, Japanese houses and buildings have for the longest time been designed without, like, weatherproofing in mind. And by that, like, I mean having proper seals on, like, window gaps and everything. And so it ends up turning into, like, a situation where in the winter, if it's windy, you know, you will get some of that cold air in your apartment or your house because the windows weren't designed to keep those elements out to the same proficiency as, like, they are in America. And so you end up actually using a lot more energy to keep your apartment heated, unless you're going to be one of those people, one of those homeowners who, you know, doesn't use the heater and just, like, layers on clothes to keep warm, which, I mean, I guess, but doesn't stop them from using the air conditioning nonstop in the summer. And then you have, like, power outages and everything like that. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, like, that's how, like, I also noticed Japanese, like, interiors, like houses and stuff, get so dusty so easily because that dust will blow in from outside and just, like, and it's a pain to get rid of, especially if you have electronics, as you can imagine. This Mustang, man, it's not even a stock Mustang either. Like, why are all the best Mustangs not made by Ford? They're always tuned or modified versions by some other company that Ford then ends up getting the credit for. Like, Mustangs stock are generally not that fast. You usually have to end up going to, like, Boss or Celine or Shelby or something in order to get a Mustang that will actually perform, like, on par with, like, a Z28 Camaro or whatever. I know they don't make the Z28 anymore, but, you know, I mean, they don't even make the Camaro anymore, but you get the idea. It's just like, why are Mustangs as popular? Well, now Mustangs, or at least, you know, in the last couple of most recent generations, Mustangs had shipped from Ford from factory, like, competitive with the Camaro, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like what it was, or how should I say? So it is better, but, like, back in the day, man, like, the stock Mustang, even with the V8, it's just like, I don't know, it seemed like a dog compared to the Camaro, which was just always, like, the muscle car that you wished the Mustang was. And that even goes back to, like, the older cars too, like the older generations. I always preferred the Camaro, even though I know that the Camaro, by its design, was just, like, a market, like, it was only a market, like, placeholder. It was always kind of a what is it, like, well, not a second thought, but a something thought. What is it? An afterthought for as a vehicle. It was an afterthought. When compared to, you know, Chevrolet's other offerings, and that's just staying within Chevrolet, but also you had Pontiac coming out with the Thunderbird, the Firebird, and the Trans Am. You know, but still, I preferred the Camaro to the Mustang, because the Mustang was just like not that special to me, I guess. I don't know. My favorite Fords are the boring ones. And they don't even have, the versions I like aren't even the ones with the Ford badge. It's either a Mercury or a Lincoln. Oh, man. It's funny how that works. Or Edsel. Oh, Edsels. Man, that Mustang really... Is that the SVT Cobra? I think that is. The SVT Cobra was like... was that the one? I can't remember. Oh, I can't believe he did that to me. On the final lap, too. That's so dumb. Okay, good. My Radical Highway video is still uploading. 43% as of recording. I want to upload longer form content more frequently. Which is why I'm doing this. And why I did the Radical Highway video. Yay. And why I did all the S ranks and everything. Yeah. Gonna leave in some engine noise for you. I don't know if I've been talking too much or too little. I don't know. I just like talking sometimes. Of course, I'm not talking about the game most, like, for 90% of this, but my voice keeps doing this weird, like, thing. And I think it's because of, ooh. Now it's my turn to spin him out. Take that. Oh, I guess it didn't really do anything. Great. Laguna Seca, man. Somehow it still remains to be like, no matter which game I play it in, it's always like, not kryptonite, but it's always tricky in different ways. That's the thing that drives me crazy. In different ways. I don't even know how that works. There is an FZ... What? No way. I was recommended a JAV VHS tape now. What the heck? How long is this? Will it say? Oh, let's see. 50 minutes. It's a 50-minute JAV tape. That's unheard of. You know, I'm gonna add that to my watch list too. That's crazy. I have an FZ1 3DO that I'm following. And nobody's bid on it yet. The auction finishes in tomorrow, actually. Only 1,000 yen. Dead or Alive Extreme? Wait. What is this? No way. A Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball face towel? What? Oh, Dead or Alive Extreme 3. That's what it's called. Face towel. Who's the character? Scarlet? Is that a character from Dead or Alive 3? Oh man, they have all... There's one with all of them. That's crazy. Man. $40,000 for a CECH A00 PS3 with Blade Storm bundled. No YLOD. Oh, no way. It's actually in my prefecture. Oh, interesting. Yeah. PS2 backwards compatible. PS3. That was such a good idea. You could play PS1, PS2, and PS3 games all in one box, natively, without worry. That's amazing. Like, you don't really get that anymore. Like, I know PlayStation Now, I think PS Now is a thing, but man, it's just not the same because it's all like emulation. And so like it's up to a team of developers to work really hard to get something that was meant to run on architecture, like Sony proprietary architecture, the Emotion Engine, on something that's like what x86 based AMD like modern stuff. That's not an easy thing to do, and you have to do that, I'm pretty sure, per game. I mean, man, props to them. It's one thing for PS5 to be backwards compatible with PS4. They're pretty much the same architecturally. But like PS2, PS3, I know a lot of people are like really vying for backwards compatibility. And I mean, sure, like there are emulators that can run on significantly weaker hardware that can run PS3, PS2 games, and like have settings tweaks and everything like that to make them run better, look better, etc. But like to the standard of like, you know, putting it on a console, it's still kind of, you know, iffy. You know, one of the nice things about emulating on a computer is that emulation software can be tweaked and, you know, modified. Well, depending on the emulator, of course. But if it's like, you know, a lot of the time you can, you know, tweak settings to make it so that the emulator can run in your preferred way. But like, yeah, sometimes you have to change emulators, and that can be pretty troublesome, and there's a lot of troubleshooting involved. When it comes to consoles, you really, I mean, there is a luxury that comes with, the troubleshooting, but also some people just, when they get it, most people who buy consoles just want to, don't want to worry about toggling settings and like understanding what like emulation jargon stands for. And so like, the pick up and play aspect needs to carry over to that backwards compatibility as well. And that's why like I feel that a lot of the times, like especially at least when the Xbox 360 was doing backwards compatibility with original Xbox games, they had to do it on a per game basis, because I'm guessing because they wanted to have the best emulation possible. Of course, that was far from the case. Backwards compatibility on 360 was, in hindsight, pretty rough. I know, I experienced it. Halo and Halo 2 on Xbox 360 was an inferior, at least through backwards compatibility mode, was an inferior experience to playing it on just the original Xbox hardware. I wouldn't recommend that backward compatibility mode. I would rather, I would actually just say get the remasters for them, for those games, honestly. Yeah, because it was just rough, man. I remember when I was playing Halo Combat Evolved backwards compatibility mode on the 360, I was like, did this game really run this rough? Like, I mean, I didn't know what frame stutter was at the time, but it was just rampant. And like slow down, also. And I was just like, but then I played it on the original Xbox, and it was like, I mean, sure that for today's standards, like for how games are supposed to run, that game doesn't run like the best. The frame rate, does drop quite a bit, but at the same time, like it was a lot better an experience than the 360. I don't know what happened there, but the emulation for those games is pretty disappointing on the 360. And I don't know what, I mean, of course, again, architecture differences and everything, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what emulation on Xbox One or Series consoles is like, but I have seen some Digital Foundry backward compatibility tests with the Xbox Series X and Series S for original Xbox and Xbox 360 games, and they seem to have that dialed in pretty nice. And like Xbox One X, will run like Xbox 360 games at like that's like if you want to play the Xbox 360 games with like a slightly like a visual boost because it's like outputting a higher definition video and like a stable frame rate, like a fixed 30 FPS, but then like if you get the Series X, it's like, all right, now we're putting this at like 4K or 1440p or whatever, and it's like 60 frames or higher. So it's like the One X is kind of like almost like an entry-level Xbox at this point, even more so than like the Series S. Although it was interesting because I did see Digital Foundry's comparison video for the Xbox. Oh no, sorry, for Halo Infinite, I think. Halo Infinite, yeah. And the Xbox Series S version had like higher quality textures, but the Xbox One X ran better than the Series S. That's so interesting. I love seeing those two especially compared, because like they're both kind of filling the same space almost, where like the Series S is like is the entry level Xbox, but it's digital only. But the One X also kind of fills in the space of an entry level Xbox, but it does have an optical drive, so you do have that option. And I think that's probably what what Microsoft or Xbox were like going for, maybe with that, which is why they didn't have a Series S with a disk drive. Because like the Series S does have like a lower performance, or like it doesn't perform at the level that the Series X does, right? And it's close enough to the mid-gen refresh Xbox One X that you can compare those two. I don't know. I just find that fascinating. It's almost like looking at the different trim levels of all the different Edsols, right? That existed in back when Edsel was around, that car brand was around, because there's a lot of overlap between them, and like the lower trim of the higher of the better model Edsel was like still comparable to like the middle trim of a lower level Edsel. You know what I mean? It's so fascinating. And that's kind of like how the Xbox, it's a spectrum kind of. Of course, the base Xbox One and the Xbox One S are probably sort of like, those aren't entry level. Those are like, you still haven't gotten a newer Xbox sort of market, right? Because they're not selling Xbox One anymore, let's be real. They don't make those new. Oh man. I mean, they don't make Xbox One X anymore either, but you can still find them in the box. You can still buy them new. Hey, we're coming up to the end. Great. That means I can edit this video together and start my laundry and do my like really short usual Sunday routine. And then Monday happens. Yay. Yay, Monday. Woo! I'm so excited for Monday. Let's hear it for Monday. Not really. Oh. Oh, man. Yeah, I have a feeling that all this slowdown is actually a result of my computer capturing this. Maybe. I don't know. But it does it with the Dreamcast too, and I know for a fact that the Dreamcast does not run so uneven like the video suggests it does. So, man, I've been talking so much. I think that's why my voice is going is because I've been talking as much as I have been. Although I am generally a fairly soft spoken. I don't have a very resilient voice. I can't talk for so long that because I'll end up like losing like, I don't know, projection ability, which is why I don't like Mondays that much, because I'm forced to project a lot. Oh, man. If you know, you know. That's fine. One of these days I'll just call out on a Monday and be like, yeah, you guys figure it out for once. Actually, that reminds me, there was one time, so there are a lot of like ALT dispatch companies, but like the biggest one by far is a country called Interac. And Interac a couple years ago put out this like video to their ALTs that was just really bad. So much so that they ended up like retracting it, like trying to delete it forever. Basically, basically the video went like, we know that you know, your health is important, and you know you might have to call out sick every once in a while, but if you're up gaming too late and you call out because you didn't get enough sleep, that's not good. They're basically implying that like the reason people are calling out sick isn't because they're actually sick, but because they're up gaming too late. Like, what, dude? Are you serious? It was met by so much outrage, and it was like leaked on Reddit, and like that Reddit post ended up getting DMCA'd by Interac. They're like trying to hide it and stuff. It was so bad. And they were like, and they showed all these clips of like teachers saying how like, you know, how bad it was that ALT's calling out, like how much of a hassle it is, you know, for them. And like showing videos of kids that are obviously reading a script saying like, we miss our ALT when they're absent from school, and like all this stuff. It's like, what? We love English class. Like dude, they're obviously reading a script. They were coached. Oh man. Because I mean, ALTs have such a high turnaround. Like within the time a kid goes through elementary school, they'll probably go through like an ALT a year, like per year. And like the ALT will change every time. And a lot of that time is because that ALT quits, like sometimes even halfway through their contract, if not sooner. Or like after their contract is up, which is, I don't know, maybe more common than I'm making it out to be, but typically the ALT job doesn't attract they're not sending their best, so to speak. Oh man, they're not sending their best. They're sending criminals. And some of them are good people. Oh, iconic moments that changed the world. Yeah, we're coming up on the end. We only got 3 minutes. That's what the end of this race, I think. So I guess I should probably just like start finishing up. Well, I'm glad I finally got this out of the way, because, man. The video I'm uploading, the Shadow Generations Radical Highway video, is up to 47% complete. Not bad. Not bad at all. I hope whoever watches this enjoyed it. Again, this is just like a continuation of me just playing through this campaign, and the footage is pre-recorded, not by design but by accident. So I'm recording all this audio in real time in post, which I've done before, but I don't do often, mostly because it's not the most time efficient way to do it. But sometimes you gotta improvise. And hey, it gives me something to do. I'll come away from Sunday being like, well, I did something productive, Although I do have another video I plan on making for the channel. I'll be recording my gameplay of Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. That's my goal for today. So that'll be interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 is one of my least favorite Sonic games of all time. Oh! He took first place from me right at the last second. What is he, a Mercedes, right? It's a Mercedes-Benz. Probably. But that's it. That's all she wrote. Maybe next time I'll get my revenge. So, with that being said, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll get my revenge on this guy at a later time, as the heavy metal gamer likes to say. And until then, I've got 50 seconds I've got to kill. So I don't know what to say other than if I get a PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X, 3DO, maybe one of those VHS tapes I was talking about earlier. You'll never know until you know. And I'm actually I have a movie review channel too. Maybe I'll link that in the description or something if you want to see me review Japanese movies. Mostly Japanese, but also other movies from China and other parts because I did study Asian cinema as well in college. So, I'll whatever, I'm working on an Iron Girl 3 video. So yeah, in the meantime, I'll see you next time. Yeah.